talk show hosted by an African American on the 2025 Talkers Heavy 100 list of the most important talk radio hosts in the nation. Last year, Tavis ranked number 33, and the year before, number 45. The Tavis Smiley Show has rapidly expanded its national syndication to now include nearly 50 radio stations across the country and counting. Congratulations, Tavis.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Microphone checker, swinging sword lecture, closing down the sector, supreme neck protector. Better want him, kid, Mr. Mepsa. Ballin' pop, bout to blow his lid from the pressure. Too hot for TV, for cheesy. Too many wanna be hard, be easy. It's all in together, going all out together. It don't take much to please me. Still, homes are never satisfied like the Stones. We don't condone biting, see them selling crossbones. Protecting what I'm writing, don't clash with the titan who blast with a license to kill rap recitants. Come on, in the zone with your from the group home to Cal.
Your lifestyle.
Put your lights out, get this shit to crackin', got you feeling with your pipes out. Time for some action. Surfing the avenue, mad at you, where I used to battle cruise. Back when Antoinette had that attitude. Cover me, I'm going in, walls closing in. Got us busting off these pistols, my nigga got issues again. Same song, armed with the mega bomb. Blow you out the frame, then I'm gone.
Yo, I was going too, but we roam. Cellular phones, doc meth, back in the flesh, blood and bones, don't condone. Spin bank loans and homegrown. Suckers break like turbo and ozone. When I grab the broom, moonwalk, platoon hawk, my goons bark, leave you in the blue lagoon lost.
Happy Wednesday. Welcome in. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. And you know, this is the show where we hit all the trending topics and headlines. Tonight, we're talking about growth, conflict, accountability, and of course, money. Because, yeah. How those themes, they keep showing up across the culture, and we'll get into it. We're, of course, going to start with Method Man. He's reflecting on not fully maturing until he reached 40. And what that says about fame, responsibility, and the long arc of adulthood. We'll get into that. We're also unpacking a little bit of new tension inside the Queer Eye cast, including why Karamo Brown skipped parts of the season 10 press tour and how his mother unexpectedly became a part of that story. And it is Wednesday, so you know that means that we're going to get all up in the business. And tonight we're going to break down some marketing strategies for 2026 and beyond, where we kind of, you know, that means that Damon Haley's here. We'll get into all of that, but where he sees the tea leaves as far as trends and areas of opportunity. So we're going to talk about that. But of course, before we do all of that, a couple of conversation starters to get us going. You know, Kenan Thompson, he's left Saturday Night Live, or is leaving. I believe he's leaving. No. He hasn't left yet. I'm sorry, guys. I'm jumping the broom. I'm not the broom. I'm jumping the gun. Blah, blah, blah. My bad. I think he's gearing up to leave. I think he has talked about that, and he is ready to depart. But on the positive front, for you 90s millennials fans, Kenan and Kel are set to reunite for a new horror comedy feature titled Kenan and Kel Meet Frankenstein. Now, if you are old enough to remember, it's inspired by the old Abbott and Costello monster films where they met Frankenstein, the mummy, the werewolf, etc. I think that they started off in vaudeville. They were a duo, black and white films back in the day. And they started adding the monster elements to it. So that means a lot of physical comedy, you know, jokey jokes. The plot is they're two delivery drivers whose routine drop-off turns terrifying when they arrive at a creepy, out-of-place castle and accidentally awaken Frankenstein's monster. So both will star and produce. So there it is. You know, it's a perfect mix of nostalgia, little comedy, all of the things, right? Legacy IP, creative ownership, and a little bit of nostalgia. Low studio risk, right? Or something. Andy?
Is Keenan the only black member on Saturday Night Live?
No, there's Michael Che.
Oh, Michael Che, that's right.
No,
Okay.
Chris Redd left. I believe he left. That's the one that married Keenan's ex-wife or hooked up with her. So, yeah.
I wanted to nominate a couple people to maybe replace Keenan.
Like who?
Josh Johnson. I don't know if you're familiar with him.
Not.
Black comedian. I want to say he's a youngster. If you follow him on YouTube, it's like he has like a special, it seems like, every day. And I want to say he's on The Daily Show or whatnot. Google him. And Drewski.
You know, I think Drewski is his own thing. I don't think that Saturday Night Live, like, I understand the reach, but he's already on mainstream commercials and Super
I'm with
Bowl.
you.
But I feel like Drewski is his own kind of thing, and I feel he would be boxed in on something like that.
Hopefully that wouldn't be the case, but I agree with you. But I do think that'd be a good look for Saturday Night Live if they want to expand their reach.
It
you know
definitely would be.
And for Drewski too. I think there's.
I mean, I think it could be a mutually beneficial thing, but I kind of don't know if
they would water him down a little bit, huh?
Yeah, I don't know if it would
that.
work. We would have to see, though. I'm not mad at it. And shout out to Vince Carter and Tracy McGrady. They are joining the athlete podcast ranks. They are launching a podcast called Cousins. And they're obviously former Raptors teammates, later discovered to be cousins. And they are, gonna shoot the stuff like everybody else out here. So big ups to them. They have the family element and, maybe a little business broadcasting. We don't know. We'll have to see in the mix. I got a question about all those athlete content IP and some other things for Damon Haley when we come forward. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Your ride with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
It's game day. Are your moderate to severe Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keeping you from the action? Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, could help you get back to the game. Skyrizi is proven to help people feel significant symptom relief, achieve remission, and visibly improve damage of the intestinal lining. Skyrizi is a prescription injection medicine for adults. Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines. Liver problems leading to hospitalization may occur when treated for Crohn's or ulcerative colitis.
Control is everything to me.
Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 prescribed biologic in Crohn's and ulcerative colitis combined. Learn more at skyrizi.com or 1-866-SKYRIZI.
Hey, KBLA delegation, you know what's better than laughing? Laughing while celebrating the legends who made us laugh in the first place. KBLA Talk 1580 is proud to present our annual Black History Month luncheon. And this year, we're honoring comedy greats, trailblazers who broke barriers, and funny bones at the same time.
You had to grow up early when we was growing up because your parents were sent to the store to buy. You was too young to buy. I want you to go to the store, get me a fifth of gin and a pack of cigarettes. Mama, I'm 2, they ain't gonna let me have that. Here, take this note. You be a little boy walking down the street with liquor and cigarettes. And your neighbors be going, that's a good little boy right there.
We need a little levity right about now. So we're rolling out the red carpet for comedy royalty. D.L. Hughley, Melanie Camacho, Earthquake, Lunel, Dion Cole, Martin Lawrence, and a surprise guest appearance. It's going up Thursday, February 26th in downtown LA at the Grammy Museum. An unforgettable afternoon of stories, celebration, and yes, plenty of laughs. Because let's be real, these legends don't just tell jokes. They have changed the game, opened doors, and made history while making us smile.
You gotta go to child support court. You gotta get there real early in the morning. You see brothers going into court. You see them come out 3 hours later. I can't pay this. Let me talk to you, baby. Please, let me talk to the witness, Your Honor. Let me talk to the witness. Brother be working for 3 weeks, get his check is $43.
This year, for the first time ever, we have set aside a limited number of individual tickets for the luncheon. They are going going to go fast, and when they're gone, they're gone. So, if you want a single ticket, or if your company or organization wants to sponsor a table, move swiftly and get to KBLA1580.com right now. All these comedy giants in one room, on one stage, at the same time? Stop it! This event is going to sell out quicker than right now and sooner than at once. KBLA Talk 1580's annual Black History Month luncheon, Thursday, February 26th at the Grammy Museum. It's gonna be legendary, just like them.
What's up? What's up?
What's up? You got to laugh the pain away.
Now back to more entertainment news with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Welcome back in. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. So listen up. If this is your first time, you're new here, 800-920-1580. That's the number that you can dial to get in on this conversation personally, or you can hit us up on social media, KBLA 1580. I am at Stiletto Jill everywhere. You can download the app to catch up on past episodes or get the visual to go along with this audio experience. Hop into the YouTube chat. The VIPs, that's our community. They get it in over there. There's lots of conversation. Join us, really. Now, I did mention it's Wednesday, and on Wednesdays, we get all up in the business of entertainment and sports. And I don't do it alone. I am joined by author, entrepreneur, business strategist, owner of Glow and Flow Beauty and Slay Hair 3 Ys, Mr. Damon Haley.
Hey now, Stiletto Jill. How
Welcome
you
in,
doing?
DH. I'm great. How are you?
Oh, I'm great. I'm on fire. You better have it.
Yeah, I mean, I see you was handling business before we got on the air. That's what you do, right?
Mm-hmm. In the business.
So before we get into that business, we're going to get into a little growth, success, and maturity, right? From one Clifford Method Man Smith. There's a lot of Cliffs in hip-hop. T.I., Meth. Interesting. That's random. Anyway, so in an interview from The Pivot, Meth was talking about his ascension, of course, those early days. And he talked about maturing at 40 and just really deciding to get focused financially, physically, and get his GED. So, it's someone who has been famous and wealthy for a very long time, right? And I think that it is important to recognize sometimes or to hear people that are self-aware and take accountability for those moments in their lives. It also lets people know, hey, you can still figure things out later. Even people you think might have it all together, we're still piecing it together, so to speak, at whatever age. So let's check out what Meth had to say.
I hate to say this, but okay, why not? I don't think I matured until I was 40. And fair. I'm not a New Year's resolution guy, but it was just one of these times where I was feeling like I needed something, a guide or some type of goal to shoot for, and I made these New Year's resolutions. 1, get your taxes right. 2, get your GED, some type of diploma, because my kids were sophomores they were juniors. They were going to graduate the next year. The 3rd was fitness. I knocked all of them out of the park. Now, the thing about the GED thing was I hadn't been in school in 15 years. Mm-hmm. So, luckily, my loved one had taken a test prior to that. She kind of gave me the lowdown on what the test looks like. Essay. All right, I'll look up how to write an essay. Looked up how to write an essay. The math, you're going to need to use this calculator. Well, I don't want to use the calculator. It looked too difficult. So I get there to take the test. Long story short, I get there to take the test. This is a test that my loved one failed because of the math part. I passed that first time. I was so proud of myself. It's like, yeah, I'm still smart. Smart. You know what I mean? My loved one is my wife, by the way.
I knew what you meant.
I call her my loved one.
I knew what
love
you
her to
meant.
death.
Being as successful as you were, accomplishing all the things that you had, what made that still be important to you?
Self-awareness, I guess. You like to see yourself through your children, and you always questioning whether you're doing the right thing by them or if you're the right role model, even sometimes the right fit. And then it's just a lot of self-motivation. If you want different for yourself, you gotta do different for yourself. If I can't control anything in this world, I can control my ways and my actions. So I'll start there. I just followed that blueprint.
So shout out to Meth. I think it's an important message, an important reminder. Also, in context, him bringing up his wife, because he who finds a wife finds a good thing, right? Right. So, I just thought that it is an important reminder. Urban Spinster in the chat says, these people out here uneducated as hell. I mean, listen, they were on the grind, and I guess, for some, but you think about it, people really, for a certain segment of black men, only locked into school because that was their path through sports, right? There's a certain segment that go to college, and then there's some that just go to work and figure it out as they're out there, right? At least they used to be, right? Trade schools are making a comeback now because it's one of the only careers and areas that could potentially survive AI. So there's that. But I think, those two dreams, we saw like people from our neighborhoods go really far for the first time, right? Entertainment, sports. A lot of people locked into that path. Look at it still now. How many people did you know, no matter your age, that thought in some capacity sports or entertainment was a lock for their future? And where are they now? Like, here is my thing with that too, that I always say. I remember I used to go, for me, I believe in apprenticeships, mentors, all of that. So I used to always go and get involved in internship programs no matter where I worked, and would go to high schools to speak to the students. That didn't always work out well. But one of the things that I would always tell them is that, listen, there are accountants at any company in any industry that you think you might want to be a part of as the main thing. There are so many jobs within that whole ecosystem that don't just focus on the shiny part. There's other things that you like to do that you could connect into it that way. That might keep you there longer than the shiny part. So, but any thoughts on that, DH, as a successful married man? What are your thoughts about Meth and the timeline he presented?
You can't argue against it. I mean, one, he said this self-awareness thing, which we all get to assess. He said his kids. He saw himself through his kids. So let's face it. One, he talked about the love of his wife, which I believe if you find a wife, you done found a good thing. And then even with his kids, so it really reflects what kind of family man he is. So he's always been grounded. I did meet him in Red one time, and Meth had something different than Redman. Meth doesn't surprise me what I hear, because he always seemed to be solid as a guy, and so he just got to a point to where he said, hey, my kids are graduating high school, why shouldn't I? My money seems to be, the tax man is getting me, so my accountant, let me get that right. And then something was going on with his body, and I mean, he got rocked up pretty quickly. So right. He did mature, because he did really grown person stuff. So I love the idea that, one, he was vulnerable enough to share it, sharing that, he has a loved one, sharing that he cares what his kids think about him. So I love it. I like it.
Andy?
I love everything that Method Man had to say. I agree with what DH had to say. But can we just say, naturally, that was the perfect age for him to mature? And what I mean by that is, 20, obviously you're still young. In your 30s, you're pretty young too. By 40, in a lot of ways, I think you should be maturing or settling down. So,
of course,
I think this is a natural thing. Are we supposed to be maturing at 18?
I mean, I think in a different season, right? I think if you think back, because Meth is Gen X, right? He got married in 2001. He had several children, so that means he was in his early 30s. He had been famous at that point for about 10 years. We know the money can be tricky in the entertainment industry, but I think the idea, the generation that he grew up in, is that by the time you're 25 or 30, you should be looking to settle down and be on that career path and kind of locked in to a certain degree. Those were the expectations of a prior generation. Through hip hop, we kind of upended and Gen X in general upended some of the expectations as far as what does adulthood look like? What does a responsible adult look like? What do relationships and marriage and couplings look like? A lot of that happened through our generation. Baby boomers started getting divorced in the late 70s, early 80s. Divorce wasn't a mainstream thing like it is now. So, once you get married, you kind of went off and with Little House on the Prairie. It's why everybody is like, 30-year-old, 40-year-old, because people shut it down and disappeared back in the day. Mm-hmm. Anything, DH?
Yeah, no, and I don't think, okay, so he got his taxes right. He got his body right. Okay, he got his GED. I think that for him, that's a sign of maturity. For him. Yeah. And I think we all have this journey where it's different levels of maturity. We can look at a 17-year-old and say, oh, he's mature for his age. Oh, at 27, oh, he's mature. I don't think that at 40 we would think people are mature, but it's probably where he did shut it down and start thinking about different stuff. So, I just think, like I said, a tax thing was a tax thing. He just made a decision. But the other two on GED, he would have been fine without the GED. Personally, he would have been fine.
Right, because of the industry and where he was.
The weight thing, he could have did some Ozempic or something like that, but he chose to really grind it out. So I think it was just his mindset got different at 40.
He stabilized.
Yeah, he shut it down, all that foolish stuff.
That's right. All right, so listen, I got you in the building, right? We're going to get into all up in the business. We'll talk about Karamo after that later. But, we're in 2026, 3 weeks in now. And a lot is happening as far as business and culture and the way things are changing. Last week, we discussed how more brands are becoming media and content companies. Mm-hmm. I just saw an announcement where I can't remember what network, but they're teaming with one of the British football clubs to tell the origin story of the club, not as a docuseries, as a fictionalized series. So they're writing the full-blown thing out, right? And obviously global brands, luxury tech, finance, alcohol, auto, beauty, all of the things, right? They're all jumping into content and other ways. So what type of trends or sort of ideas as far as sponsorship focus or, areas of opportunity do you see coming for 2026?
I think one is telling stories. And it's not just talking. It's not just reporting. It's really cultivating, engaging storytelling. So if you can do that, because that's what we fiend right now, and that's what brands want to buy. Tell me your story, period. So I think if you can cultivate a great story about yourself, about a thing, about an experience, and can do that, people will watch it, which means you ultimately will get clicks and follows and shares and all that, and people will pay for that. Or people will pay you to say, tell your story with me included in it. And so that's the first thing. The second thing I would say is sharing. How do you express yourself across multiple platforms? Because once again, that's more eyeballs. We talked about NFL, more games, but it's more platforms. So if you can master more platforms to share more of these stories or any type of information, that's to your advantage. That's how you should figure it out. And then the other thing is people talk a lot about marketing, which I think is you say something to make people react, go buy, etc. But what's the brand? What do you stand for? And who stands with you? Like, that's the big thing in terms of, like, what is your brand? When people think of you, when they think of, whatever it is you're doing, what is it that makes them love it? Love it. And really honing in on that versus, once again, activity, just doing stuff. But what are those things? I think if you can tell great stories, enhance your platforms to share whatever it is you want to share and develop a strong brand, you'll be attractive.
Andy?
Jill.
Yes.
We had a discussion last night.
About Nike?
You already know. You was talking, DH, you talking about storytelling. Mm-hmm. What's your analysis, my brother?
So effectively last night, we talked about the MLK release of the LeBron in the Lorraine Motel, Teal Green, and some of the reaction from social and on the internet was this was a little out of, tone deaf, out of touch, that as far as the storytelling, we're not feeling that. And, I brought up the fact that we both know storytelling is important for products. As far as Nike, it's something that they at least used to, as far as, highly value. It goes into the product. There's a lot of thought put into it. And I questioned if there was anybody black still on LeBron's product team or brand team, because I feel like this is something that even if they pushed ahead with it, they were unprepared to me for the backlash. And to me, that says there's nobody black and in touch with the culture on that team. Your thoughts. You can put a pin in it and we can wait till we come forward and you can give your full explanation.
Yeah,
let's do that.
Let's do that.
When we come forward, we'll have more trending topics and headlines. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Around at night and to leave you, girl, baby, that ain't right. You call me over, give me sexy talk.
You're in the know with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. Black Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson is shutting down rumors that the city plans to buy back its parking meters.
The final purchase price was far too high, much more than we initially received for the sale.
He says his team explored the idea but found it too expensive. Johnson also noted the meters were recently sold to another company for more than the original 2008 deal, which topped $1 billion. The Supreme Court appears skeptical of the Trump administration's authority to fire Black Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook. Justices questioned her August removal over mortgage fraud allegations. Cook remains on the job as the court weighs a decision later this year. And a federal shift on marijuana is reigniting debate at the Tennessee Capitol. Black Democratic State Representative Antonio Parkinson is backing a proposal to let adults grow marijuana at home, while Republican Senator Farrell Hale is calling for a study on medical marijuana. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Elysian Park, a stall 5 south connector to the 2 south, partially blocking lanes, but that 5 southbound is slow moving, leaving the 134. And you've got issues in Riverside West 60 at Market. 2 right lanes are blocked due to a crash with a backup from Main Street. Also in Riverside on the 91 westbound at Tyler Street, 2 right lanes blocked due to a wreck, slowing you down from 14th.
For victims of drunk and drug driving, our grief is unique, but you are not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Call our 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The UCLA men's basketball team got a big win Tuesday night at Pauley Pavilion. They beat Purdue, the number 4 team in the nation, 69-67. UCLA forward Tyler Bilodeau hit a game-winning three-pointer. The unranked Bruins gave Purdue their first loss in the Big Ten this season. The UCLA women's basketball team, ranked 3rd in the nation, are at home tonight against Purdue. Lakers star Luka Doncic is still leading the NBA in scoring with 33.5 points per game. Despite the Clippers' blowout loss in Chicago Tuesday night, they remain in 10th place in the Western Conference, the final playoff spot in the West. Major props to African-American tennis star Coco Gauff. Gauff donated $150,000 to provide scholarships for tennis players at HBCU schools. This is the second time Gauff has made the generous gesture. She gave $100,000 to HBCU tennis programs in 2025. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Break out the champagne. Everybody get a glass.
Tavis Smiley is now ranked number 16 nationally and the highest rated talk show hosted by an African American on the 2025 Talkers Heavy 100 list of the most important talk radio hosts in the nation. Last year, Tavis ranked number 33 and the year before, number 45. The Tavis Smiley Show has rapidly expanded its national syndication to now include nearly 50 radio stations across the country and counting. Congratulations, Tavis.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick, and it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks Vapors when you need more comfort for yourself. Use as directed.
The new year brings new health goals and wealth goals. Protecting your identity is an important step. Your info is in endless places that could expose you to identity theft, leading to lost funds. LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Resolve to make identity health and wealth part of your New Year's goals with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit lifelock.com. Terms apply.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminds you that we keep us safe. Every girl deserves a chance to shine. That's the belief behind Forgiving for Living, Inc. Since 1999, this organization has been empowering at-risk girls ages 13 to 18, helping them overcome behavioral and mental health challenges. Founder Wendy Gladney's personal journey inspired the mission to give girls hope and purpose through the power of forgiveness. Through their ambassador program, workshops, and annual conference, Forgiving for Living has touched over 3,000 young lives, providing mentoring, life skills, training, and tools for building self-esteem and confidence. You can make a difference. Visit forgivingforliving.org to donate, volunteer, become a mentor, or find help for a young girl in need. Forgiving for Living, Inc., building brighter futures for young girls. Visit forgivingforliving.org today. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey there, Los Angeles. This is James Lucky Jr., publisher and editor of Los Angeles News Observer. Are you hungry for news that matters to you in the African-American communities of Los Angeles? Well, buckle up, because we got the scoop you've been craving. Stay in the know and never miss a beat with our free weekly publications conveniently available near you. Or hop on the digital wave and become an exclusive subscriber at OGNSC.com. Don't forget to join the party on Instagram and Twitter at OGNSCINC for behind-the-scenes access and sizzling updates. No more FOMO. Let's stay informed, connected, and empowered together.
You're listening to Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
She's simply awesome. She touched by me in painted on jeans. And all head turned 'cause she was the queen. In the blink of an eye, I knew her number and her name. Yeah. She said I was the tiger she wanted to tame. Caribbean queen, now we're sharing the same dream, and our hearts they beat as one. No more love on the run.
Welcome back in. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. Get your 80s vibes on. Happy birthday, Billy Ocean. It's had to be about 82, I believe. 82, 83-ish. Yeah? Yeah?
Way before my
Yeah?
time. Way before my time.
I'm just good with dates. Doesn't have to be my time. I just remember dates. Don't do me. We are locked in with Damon Haley, author, business strategist, entrepreneur, owner of Glow and Flow Beauty, Slay Air, 3 Ys. Yes.
84.
84. Ooh, okay.
Off the album Suddenly.
All right.
Okay.
Shout out to Billy.
Close though.
Forrest Harrison says Billy's still performing. Billy got hits. Big ups to that. All right. DH, you were just about to give us your thoughts and opinion on the LeBron James MLK tribute sneaker, which is painted a teal green in honor of the Lorraine Motel. So let's get into a little bit of that storytelling choice and your thoughts about the brand in that aspect.
It wasn't one of my favorites. Might have been least of one of my favorites, actually. I think that it's just interesting that, a lot happened. I mean, people were shook on that particular day that what happened to him in that moment. I think you said it's a museum now, et cetera, et cetera. I don't know if that's a celebratory moment that we would want to go back to what happened at the Lorraine Hotel. Now we will never forget it, but do we want to elevate that? I think that may have been an era. Secondly, are we redefining what that moment meant, which is the storytelling we talked about? There was none of that. You just left us alone with the Lorraine Hotel and that distinctive color, and then you just left us alone to be in sorrow, to be in sadness, not to uplift us in any way. So I think that's my biggest disappointment, that there was no alternate story around it. There was no, being tricky with it or ingenious with saying, hey, we're still not going to allow that to stop us, or something like that. It was really nothing. We're just going to do this thing. He got shot on this balcony at Lorraine Hotel. This was the color of the Lorraine Hotel. Now do with it what you will.
Yeah, I mean, I just felt like you, at the end of these stories, right, we're supposed to feel inspired at its basic level, right? Yeah. And though we obviously know Dr. King is an inspiration, does highlighting the color of the motel bring inspiration to us just to make a weak connection? And it reminds me, to the point that you made about the importance as far as for all brands in 2026 storytelling, that seemed a very weak lean for story. So,
and storytelling is going to be a challenge with a generation that might not read novels, that might not understand story arc. We might be in a transition of them thinking they telling a story, but not telling the whole story, how we're processing this.
I think also one of the things that, I noticed, like, we do have something similar or akin to water cooler moments currently, but it's not like before. It's not like, if you were alive in the 80s and you saw your mom's reaction or the kids at school after Dallas aired and Who Shot JR. Do you know, like, there's no, you could say, where's the beef? And people of a certain generation will know that frame of reference. I don't feel like we have a great deal of that currently. And so I think that also erodes some of the storytelling, because it takes away moments that we collectively know and understand the plot, the blueprint for it, and you can't mix it up and have fun with it because, well, you can, but people don't make the same connection to know how this is a takeoff of that or a funny moment of that, Yeah.
And it's interesting because now it's reverse. It's not where it's being created and then recreated in the general public. they're taking stuff from the general public and then recreating it.
Facts.
So interesting,
I mean, it's one of the reasons why I said that I don't think that Drewski could be on Saturday Night Live. I think his comedy is too edgy and very specific. Not saying that others couldn't find it funny. Obviously, he's doing national commercials. So, I mean, he has an appeal. But, I mean, there's just certain points that he hits on that are very specific to certain moments in the culture.
Yeah, he colors outside the line. And Saturday Night Live is within the lines.
So one of the rising things for 2026 as far as a marketing concept has been the fact that Gen Alpha is starting to unplug, right? And they're also getting more into collectibles, right? So physical media, we talked about recently how vinyl is making a comeback and people have vinyl collections. Even if you think about it with the Labubus, the different little Labubus perched on, you're effectively putting together a collection, right? Yeah. And so we've seen people try and push that out with the collab moments for the special products, the special makeup products, and people rush out to get it. But how do you think the idea of the desire for physical media coming back is going to play into marketing concepts along with the media that is sweeping in and combining?
I think the physical aspect of stuff doesn't die, so I think it's very important. I look at young people with the grandkids. They got tons of stuff they do. I know teenage girls, like you say, with dolls. I mean, we just like stuff. And so I think that the more that you can create physical stuff, iconic stuff, collectible stuff that's important, if you're a brand that believes in that and can take something and have that symbol of that something really enrich you. I mean, like me, I love superheroes. So in my bag, I always keep stuff from superhero. I got a fist for the Hulk. I got the Black Panther. I got the mask of Leonardus from 300. So, and when I need it, I put that stuff aside for me so I can get some power. I think we all kind of cling to that. Kids cling to dolls, and older people, adults cling to just stuff you gotta have, So I think if you're a great brand, if you're a good marketer, you can sell 1999 stuff to people.
Big facts. So when we come forward, we'll have more on this topic, and we'll get into Karamo Brown. Before we do, really quickly, Forrest Harrison said, the biggest problem with this for me, I'm assuming he's speaking of the Lorraine Motel and Nike, is they keep asking athletes and celebrities their opinions about us instead of black scholars. I feel you, but I also have to ask, do these black scholars have the eyes and ears, thus by extension wallets, of the youth that they want to seek them out for their opinion? Because though they may be right, it doesn't mean that they will be the connection point that they need to push the product. Just a thought. When we come forward, we'll get more into that. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Are you ready for the hottest entertainment scoop in Los Angeles? She's bringing you exclusive interviews with today's biggest stars, behind-the-scenes Hollywood insights, and all the entertainment news you need to know. She's breaking down what's trending, what's ending, and what's just beginning in the world of entertainment. You're riding with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
My name is Tyrone Owens, and this is my home for 23 years that burned in the fire. Me and my wife, Charlene, we had this whole yard decorated every year.
This was the house that sparkled throughout the entire neighborhood on all the holidays. It's a community that will never be the same due to the negligence of the utility company. So I am pretty upset about that.
We were nowhere near being able to rebuild with our insurance. It's going to cost $1 million to put your house back up.
I want to to get back to that point where we were before the fire. I'm starting to get emotional, but I'll work through it. LA Fire Justice has been wonderful for us. They're just caring people. I mean, we have all faith in them.
Big ups to LA Fire Justice, who's given us hope to rebuild 100%.
Advertisement. Douglas Foster, 221 East Walnut Street, Suite 100, Pasadena, California, 91101 is the attorney responsible for this ad.
LA Fire Justice is proud to sponsor Conversation Live, Altadena Rising with James Farr on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Autopsy Initiative provides a second autopsy free of charge for victims' families who have lost their loved ones due to a police-related death. The services offered through the initiative include the completion of a second autopsy, disclosure of preliminary findings, and a final autopsy report. A police-related death is when an individual is harmed by police officers using deadly force, which results in an individual's death. Police-related death includes in-custody deaths, including those that arise during contact with law enforcement officers during arrest, pursuit, booking, transport, or incarceration. The Autopsy Initiative has a team of board-certified pathologists on call. An autopsy request may be completed by anyone with a close relationship with the victim, which may include the victim's spouse, partner, relative, close friend, or lawyer. To request a free second autopsy for a victim of police violence, please visit knowyourrightscamp.com. That's knowyourrightscamp.com. Then click on Autopsy, then click on Request. At KBLA, we believe in justice for victims of police violence. We say their names, and we don't black down. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. You're listening to Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Welcome back in. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. So, collections, vinyl. Do you collect anything, Damon?
I collect like superheroes.
Oh,
and cartoons.
You just said that.
So I used to have, before the grandkids took them, a collection of Wile E. Coyotes.
Okay.
Because that used to be my thing. Never quit, never stop. That kind of stuff. But now it's all at their house. But
working for Acme.
Yeah, there you go. But no, the collectibles thing is real. I think that, and it's an opportunity since we're talking about marketing. It's an opportunity. You think of keychains and all that kind of little stuff that means something to people, whether it's a heart, whether it's a symbol, all that kind of stuff. It just triggers something if you can build meaning behind it. I'll borrow from our friend, cotton and rubber. If you can take a piece of cotton and put a great symbol on it, people will buy it for $100 when it costs you $4,
So let me ask you, what do you think delivers the stronger ROI in today's environment? Live sports, scripted IP, or music touring?
Live sports.
Why?
It beats live touring like music because there's usually an adversary, a loser, a winner. There's usually emotional content. Somebody gonna be happy, somebody gonna be sad. It's very physical, and it's something that we probably all did when in our younger years. So we relate to and identify, and we just continuously go to these big arenas that hold 100,000 and 20,000 people year round. So I think that's the biggest thing.
Do you think brands, when they're doing, as we talked about these different areas, are they buying reach or relationship?
That's a good question. Relationships.
And what do you think is more vital for them at this point in time, though?
Oh, relationships. I get to talk to you. I get feedback from you. I get to understand you, and I get to sell you. I get to market to you.
Indeed. So Forrest Harrison says, scholar doesn't necessarily mean old, Miss Jill. There are a lot of highly educated black scholars in their 20s and 30s that are plugged into the culture. Maybe one of the things that I find Well, that I've found interesting over the past few years, right? When we take, and not wanting to take education out of it, I think it's gravely important. But I also think that you have to know how and why you're placing these things. The best thing you can have is an educated person that understands the culture too, that can touch it, so that they understand how to deliver the point. Because it doesn't matter if you have a fantastic message, but it doesn't get synthesized down to touch the average person. It can't go over their heads too far, and be too educated, because they're automatically going to tune it out. Yeah. So there has to be a right combination of corny and cool and curiosity. Well, I just made up 3 C's. But there has to be the right mix of that. And I think sometimes, much like the cool guy doesn't necessarily understand infrastructure, sometimes the scholars, even in youth, don't necessarily understand the cool factor.
Well, let's say that most of the people making these decisions are college educated. So Facts. I don't know if that's scholarly, or scholars, but they're scholarly.
Right.
And so they can conjugate verbs and do the presentations and all of that. But the sensibility of tapping into culture does take someone scholarly, but somebody a blend of cool, a blend of listening, and being able to really say what's going to make people think this is hot and like it. And that's really like, you want a smart, cool person. And that's who we used to be younger. But that's why we thrived.
That's who I am now. Yeah.
I mean, that's why we thrived, because like I said, I was managing a pension fund before I did the Nike thing. But, those who know me know I went to the wash house and I used to hang in Oakland and Detroit and all that kind of stuff. So, and I loved being on that level of translating culture into how do we have fun and how do we make people love this brand. And so, these are scholarly people. They college educated people, but sometimes they're just insensitive and sometimes they're sheltered.
Yeah, they don't have the connection. DJ Black 909 says, it's like this, Forrest, talking to Forrest Harrison in the chat who just asked that question. We are the only ethnicity who begs for athletics and celebrities. It says athletics, he meant athletes. And celebrities to be our role models, leaders. In other cultures, they have the educators, business people, and politicians. I'm going to push back slightly on that. I understand what you're saying, and we do put intense amounts of pressure on our celebrities and athletes. I often speak about when I was at BET, one of the problems that I felt that they had was that they were trying to be everything to everyone. And you can in a way, but as a network, they needed an identity because, we're BET Uncut on Saturday night and we're Bobby Jones Gospel Sunday morning, but those two audiences don't necessarily want to live together happily. So you got to pick one and go in. And I say that to say that, one, don't think that white people or others are so special that they're not as equally enthralled by athletes and celebrities. They are, and the spectacle. They are. And two, I think that there can be balance. I think we can admire people for their artistic talents and gifts and what they bring and how they interpret it and things that they bring in. But I don't think that it should be the only. And I think that that's what we have a lot of problems with the balance. Urban Spencer says, I think Mike Epps just mentioned on his interview with Shannon Sharp that there has to be the right mix of corny for you to attract mainstream audiences. I saw part of that, and I mean, I think it is a very good point. You have to. It's for me a little bit not that corny. Ride with me, you guys. I think you'll feel this. There has to be a bit in the aspiration that I feel like I can touch it, or I feel like I can be a part of it. If it feels too untouchable for some people, then they're going to push away. I think.
Yeah, mainstream is the middle.
Yeah.
And if it's too far off the middle, they're not going to get it. And we know the people who we know people who cross over. We know people who are mainstream, and we know why.
I mean, because there's like, you look at, there's certain comedians that, or, even actors, and you're like, oh, that person is white funny. They're not black funny. Because black funny, we require particular things. We want to roll in the aisles. We want certain points hit. And if you don't necessarily get that, and you give maybe chuckles, you might have more success over here with these people. And I'm not necessarily talking sellouts, you know. Forrest Harrison says, white people think Donald Trump is smart. Hey, yo, there you go. What's the tea on Karamo and the Queer Eye cast? Let me break this down really quickly. So basically, y'all, a hot mic situation happened. He checked out of his CBS Mornings appearance with the rest of the cast, he said, for his mental health after discussing it with his therapist. Well, the backstory to that is because he's unfollowed some of his cast members except for one, and even in his message, he didn't address certain cast members. So there was a problem. Apparently, during a hot mic situation, his mom heard his castmates discussing him, discussing his lifestyle, discussing the way he lived his life, and not being very kind. And so she, of course, relayed that information to his son. And he said he still wasn't always treated nicely on set anyway. So these revelations changed how he felt in the working relationships and for his mental health. He said, stay away. It happens, you know. Everybody's not your friend just because you guys are coworkers. I was talking about this with someone today. It's disappointing sometimes for some when you leave a job and people you thought you really had a relationship with, you find out that's just your work friend. That's what it is. Listen, thank you, Damon Haley. Damon Haley on social media. Follow him for locking in with us for All Up in the Business Wednesdays. Coming up next is Zoe Williams, the voice of reason. I'll be back tomorrow.
I used to read them in art. Then he dropped Stillmatic, rock the cleaners for law. Fast forward, who'd have thought that I would meet him on tour? I'm earning stripes now and got Adidas galore. Backstage, I shook his hand, let him know that he's the man. When he said he was a fan, it was too hard to understand. No time to soak up the moment though, cause I was in the jam. Hove asking where's the record that the radio could play, and I was striking out for months. Knife in and feeling fear. Jeter under pressure, made the biggest hit of my career, but at first that wasn't clear.